Welcome to You Plus Happy. Yeah.
Hello, thank you all for tuning in. I'm Selena Marche, and this is You Plus Happy, where every other Tuesday I bring you someone who challenges us to define happiness and success on their own terms with a dose of laughter. I want to hear your thoughts, so leave comments, questions, whatever you want to say. But give us feedback, it really helps. And this week I'm here with Kenyvttv, who is a writer, director, and producer. Welcome to the show, Kenyvttv.
Oh, thank you. Happy to be here, Selena.
I had the privilege of working with you.
It was our privilege.
Mutual. On a movie set, but we'll get there. Okay, we'll jump right in. How did you get started?
I've been in the entertainment game for a long time, specifically music. I came in the music industry under Tupac's father, Dr. Matutu Shakur. We did a project called Dare to Struggle, which was a tribute album to Tupac, political prisoners and prisoners of war. It was based in Atlanta. It's late 90s, like 99, early 2000. So we did the project, things were moving. Matutu wanted me to move to Atlanta to run the production company, but I explained to him that I didn't know the business at the time. I was an artist myself. So he had me to go to New York and meet his cousin and learn the music industry on his cousin. And so his cousin's name was Chaz. He had a label called Black Hand Entertainment. He had just finished managing 50 Cent, and he was doing some film projects. And so basically when I got with him, they had just signed a deal with Sony Urban/Epic Records. I came on as the regional representative because I'm originally from Washington, D.C. So I was the regional representative for D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. So throughout that tenure, we started dibbling and dabbling with straight to DVD films. He did some films, one of them called Crime Partners. He did another documentary called Black Gangster. And then he did another, it didn't become a film because the deal flopped, but it became a soundtrack to a book, which was also known as Black Gangster. And so at the time, I was like content advisor because we would have conversations about certain content to, put out, develop it a certain way, etc. And then the whole time I would always write. And so in 2000, so fast forward from 2000 up to 2012, I launched a record label in Washington, D.C. with one of my business partners. And I would write, I was the vice president and partner, but I also would write the music treatment for the music video. And so music videos are like mini movies. And so at the same time, I was also writing and sketching other ideas. And I basically never threw anything away. And so, to be transparent, when George Floyd happened, it made me realize that the narrative for people of color needed to change. Because if the narrative is to be able to kill one of us and then say, well, he had a case when he was 12, and that justifies the murder, our narrative needed to change. And so that's what prompted me to get back into the film industry, and here we are.
Wait, so how did you get started in music?
I was an artist, right? So in the beginning,
When you say you were an artist, what did you do?
I was a rapper.
Okay.
And so we did a project, again, Dare to Struggle. And you could Google, it's out there, Dare to Struggle. And I have like 6 songs on the project. But on that project, we have Mo Pree, who was Tupac's brother. We have Mike Geronimo. I think the Outlaws was on there. Uno the Prophet. A couple of back stars was on there. And so that's how I came into the music industry. But I switched and became an executive when I left and went to New York to learn the music business under Chaz Williams.
How did you meet him?
His cousin is Dr. Matutu Shakur. So Tupac's father, Matutu Shakur, his cousin is Chaz Williams, who was in New York, who had the record label.
So you were just doing music and happened to meet them?
No, so, okay, go back. So Matutu knew my mother. So I was known as Asiatic, but specifically Moorish American. I prefer Asiatic because I have so much bloodline, Native American bloodline, Caribbean bloodline, etc., etc. So I prefer Asiatic. So anyway, my mother was in a movement back in the 70s called the Moorish Republic. And it was one of the freedom fighting movements. And so Matulu knew my mother. And so I would reconnect with Matulu in my teen years. And then later on, through other avenues, we would reconnect as well.
Okay. How did you transition into movies and why? Why did you stop music?
Because the music industry, basically after the CD thing with the streaming and the downloads, the music industry just became anything, right? And so that's that. Then on a personal note, so we launched the label in 2012. In 2014, we got an act that we had put together. We put together a group called 40Y. The name of the record label was called Forever Young Music Group. So 40Y was 3 young boys, Michi So Crazy, Trey Anthony, and Kenyvttv. And so we put them together and we ended up getting the deal with Universal/E1 Entertainment. And groups doing what groups do, not really listening and paying attention, they imploded. Which at the same time, before that, or as that's transitioning, me and my business partner don't see the same vision. We start to have friction. And so I had explained to him back then, if the fun ever is taken out of this, I'm leaving. And so the fun was taken out of it, so I left.
How is it so easy to walk away from something? Well, because most people from the outside looking in, that sounds exciting. It sounds like you're following your dreams, you're an artist. How can you walk away so easily and like, I'm just not gonna do it, it's not fun?
I mean, because I understood, the key for me was I learned the business. And by me learning the business, there's a blueprint, there's a formula to that business. And so I could use that formula in anything I do. So that was that. On top of that was the understanding that I don't need a product to make money. I can make money with this. Once I understood that, it was a no-brainer. So when I left that company in 2014, 2015, I started my own consulting company, which was a brand consulting company. I took on a couple of artists as consultants. They wanted me to manage, but I won't manage. And the reason why I won't manage is because managers get fired all the time. You see, so you can take an act all the way to the finish line, and they turn around and fire you.
Do people like try to poach your artists when you're a manager? Like other people try to become their manager?
I mean, yes and no. Well, funny, that's really what occurred with 40Y. That's one of the things that occurred. There was outside entities who was in, let's say they was in one of the guy's life, right? And they didn't help the guy, right, when he was trying to become something. But once he started gaining momentum from under our leadership, then this person steps in and is whispering in his ear, which now causes him to go back and whisper in the group's ear. And so then you got unnecessary friction. So that's a form of poaching because the intent is to take this artist from you. But instead of coming directly, is let me just drop some seeds of poison and let the poison spread, right? So example would be your manager managing you, right? And someone come to you and they're like, well, you know, you're doing good, but you know, you should be doing better, or you should be getting this, or you should, you know, from my experience, this is what it, all the time they doing that so that you now begin to have doubts of your manager.
Do you think they have ill intent? Do you think they're being malicious?
Absolutely.
What's their goal?
To take your artists.
What? Okay, I'm scared of your mic. Can you take it down just a little bit? Could you project? Where is it? It's up there? Yeah. Could you project?
Okay.
And I don't want it to, yeah.
Okay.
It's just should be. But actually, put it on like how I have it because that's gonna move. That string's gonna move as you talk. You're not that animated, but just so we've been on the safe side. Sound scares me.
How about that?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
So it shouldn't move. Okay. What can an artist do? Should an artist even want to work with this person if this person is coming to them starting off being kind of not evil, but not a good person? So is that already a red flag? Should the artist be like, oh wait, or is it ever a situation where it is actually better for the artist?
So it's really two pieces to it. The first piece is morality, right? If this artist has a certain moral code, then it's a red flag. But if they don't have a moral code, or depending on who the person is, how close that person is, if that person is a brother, or that person is a aunt, or right? So when they come, it's like, oh, they're giving me advice because of the family tie. So they don't see it. And then they go back, now they're the courier of the poison that was put into the system. And so they go back and spread it. Only months to years later do the same person come back, well, hey, let me manage you now. But it was already planted months and years before.
Okay. And when you said, going back to what you said, it's not hard to walk away because you know the formula. You can take that anywhere. What's the formula?
Okay.
I knew you weren't going to tell me. I was like, I don't even know why I'm asking, but I know somebody's listening and why she asked about the formula? Because he ain't going to tell us. I already knew that. So that's why I was like, why we even gonna go there?
But it's amazing because, so like I can tell you this, there are particular steps that you have to take when you're building brands, artists, etc. in the entertainment industry. In the music industry, there are three main components that happens. First, there must be image. Then there must be story. Then there must be music. Sometimes the image can dictate the story, which dictates the music. Sometimes the story can dictate the image, which then dictates the music. So let me give you an example. When NWA, or let's use Rick Ross, when Rick Ross came out, his story was that he was a major boss. He was this big figure. Then the imagery around it became synonymous with the story. Then when the music came out, it made sense for the listener because the image that they seen based off the story all made sense. It was all succinct. Right? Have you ever saw artists when you like, I don't know why they did that song, or I don't know why because it doesn't fit the image in the story that you had, so it doesn't make sense. So out the gate, the first three things that an artist need, image, story, and music. Right? And again, they vary as on which one dictates what. Sometimes you listen and the artist has a story, like, I can put an image over it. I got that image, right? Or you hear or you see and you like, okay, I listen to the music. It needs to be geared or twisted this way, right? So another example would be Lady Gaga, right? When you see the image when she first came out, the first imagery, right? Then when the story comes, you're like, oh, okay, I got that, makes sense, because the image was first, right? And then now when the music comes, you already locked in because you was brought in by the image. The story kept you there, and now you want to hear the music.
Is it all, that makes it sound like it's all BS. Like
It is. I mean, we create artists. See, remember, it's the entertainment business. And this is where a lot of artists today fail because they don't understand it's the entertainment business. You're supposed to be an entertainer. It's a lot of misconception that goes on in the industry of, well, I gotta keep this real, or I gotta do. Being real and being heartfelt are two different things. You can say something to make somebody feel it heartfelt, but it doesn't mean that that's really your story. You see what I'm saying? Because some of these rappers today, or even entertainers, not gonna shit on rappers, but a lot of these entertainers, they have real stories nobody cares about. So you someone you keeping it real, it's been done, it's been heard. Right? So where's the entertainment? Because this is the entertainment business, right?
Yeah. Is it the same? Because so I've heard like things are changing, but like growing up, kids wanted to be, not everybody, but a lot of kids wanted to be basketball players, rappers. Now I'm hearing the kids want to be streamers, and they're looking up to people on Twitch and all this other stuff. And I don't know if you would know, and I don't know, but you think it's going to be the same thing? Like, I still have to have an image, a brand. This guy does this girl does this.
Absolutely.
So that's still going to carry over to the new whatever. Because not that you told me the formula,
right.
but that's just the general steps.
Right.
So you're saying they're going to transfer to any entertainment.
Right. So it's because not just with any brand.
Okay.
Right. Because now let's replace the word music with product. Right? Image, story, product. Story, image, product.
Is that why this sounds crazy, but is that why real good drug dealers can be successful in rap?
Absolutely.
Like if you were a kingpin,
Absolutely.
you can take those skills. Okay, so if I have my foundation, I could take it, if I know how to do it, I know how to do it.
Exactly.
Anywhere.
Exactly. It's the same. It's if you look like in the early beginning of hip hop stages, right? It was the drug dealers that influenced the rappers. Right? So the styles that you see, the clothing, the swag, all that came from the street element.
Because I listened to that audio book from the guy from Harlem, Dapper Dan. And he was talking about the influence that the drug dealers had on the entertainers, even like Mike Tyson and all that.
Because the reality is rappers weren't rich. Rappers didn't have money. It was the street guys who had money. And if the drug dealer backed the rapper, then that was that.
Yeah.
But other than that, they didn't have money like that. So only time they started making money was once they started getting tools. Because they didn't know about the publishing side, dealing with the records being put on air and getting a check from it and all that. The label was keeping that themselves and breaking them off a little piece. They weren't seeing any money until they would get big enough to do shows, to do tours. You see what I'm saying? See, even in the music industry, it's 5 ways to make money in the music industry.
Right.
Most people only know one.
What's the one most people know?
Buying a record or streaming, downloading. That's only one revenue stream. You see what I'm saying? There's publishing, which publishing is being able to do sync licenses and master licenses and everything like that. There's merchandising. There's sponsorships, right? Where you're able to get the sponsorships and then there's the live performances. So there's 5 major streams. Those are the 5 major streams. But within those 5 major streams, a smart person is able to build inside of those streams different components. But those are the 5 streams.
What's an example?
So an example would be if I know, okay, let's take sync licensing, right? So you got this artist, music hot, popping, right? So now the artists that they smart able to say, okay, listen, this is what I want my team to do. We're going to take my music and build a publishing company. And what I want to do is I want you guys to focus on strictly getting my music at gas stations, hotels, movies, etc., right? And now a person say, well, it's 2025, people doing that. No, they're not. If they were, why do you think you don't hear? Think of all those R&B legends from back in the day. Patti LaBelle, right? Luther Vandross, Marvin Gaye. Where's their music at? Nobody's pushing their music because nobody's pushing the publishing, which means that either the estate is not pushing it or is just being held by regulators who are not getting a check from it.
So they don't care.
Yeah, well, I mean, why would they? If they're making multi-millions of dollars off artists right now.
So today, if you're not business minded, are you going if you're not thinking of whatever you do as a product, you're doomed?
Well, I mean, you gonna run the treadmill or the hamster wheel, right? Because hustling is just going to get it, period. Scaling up is building the business. Most of us hustle and get stuck in the hustle without understanding how do you scale that up. You see? And I'm gonna give you an example, something quick. Like I remember when mixtapes first came out. And so mixtape market popping, New York, LA popping. So Chaz was like, listen, see if you can get some mixtape market popping in DC. What does it take? What's the price point that a person will pay? What's the location, et cetera, et cetera. All right, fine. So I go out, and one night I'm at this gas station, and I'm looking at this guy. He takes and he bums up like $50. So where we at is a wholesale district. He takes the $50, goes and buy 100 lighters. I watch him sell all 100 lighters for $1. He goes back, take $50, buy another 100 lighters. I watch him do the same thing. So then he looking at what he had made 150, he got 150 now. He takes that, calls one of his guys, back then they had the porno DVDs. He buys like $100 worth of DVDs from his guy. Now imagine, he buys these DVDs, they $10 a pop. He getting them for $5. They $10 a pop. He doubled his money. He do that 2-3 times. By the end of the night, I watch him walk away from a gas station with like $700. That's scale up. See, he hustling, but he started with the lighters. Then he moved from the lighters to the DVDs. You see, or he started with the bumming, scaled up to the product of the lighters, then got more product at a more expensive price point, and then started moving DVDs. You see what I'm saying? So that's scale up.
Should people always be looking to scale up?
Absolutely. How does your business grow if you have no scale up?
We talk a lot about music, but you do movies now.
Right.
How do you scale up in that world?
So in the movie industry, it's about you have the film, so you produce it, right? So your first move is producing product, putting product up. But the end result, so you hear with the producer, the end result is production deals or first look deals. Where you put out so much work that major companies, major studios come to you and say, I want a first look deal for you. The next 5 projects that you do, what they look like, I want to see them before anybody else sees them because they're going to buy them. So then instead of you putting your money into the product, this major studio is now going to put money into the next 5 projects that you have from a first look situation, right? Now, the diversify of the scale up is being in a position where you say, okay, I got so much, like me, I have so much content that I'm saying, okay, I'll give you the first look deal for films. But I'm going to give this company the first look deal for TV shows. You see that? So the end result is to be able to get to those first look deals in those production partnerships. To be transparent, my model that I follow or the trendsetters I follow in this game is Netflix. Because Netflix is the king of reinvention.
Okay. So you see a blueprint that works and you follow it. You're not inventing the wheel.
Right.
That's what I always say.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of things. Well, anyway.
It's the playbook.
Yeah, and it's just like, we're not inventing the wheel. I see it, let's do it. Okay.
Right.
So if somebody, what would you consider yourself? So you're an independent filmmaker, right?
Right.
Would you ever not be? Would you go with it? Would you like work at Netflix? You know what I'm saying? No. Okay. Why?
Because I have too much content to give control to somebody else.
You want to keep control, and that's why you stay independent.
Exactly. I'll do joint ventures.
What would be a benefit of not being independent?
Not having to put your own money in and not having to do the marketing campaigns and all of the pushing.
Everything.
You know what I mean? But that's for a small entity. Once we grow and we become a company, because that's what I'm building a company. Once you build a company, then I'm not necessarily pushing the campaign. It's about creating the system. See, what happens is when you build a company, the creator or the owner of the company is supposed to create the system that the company functions under. Once they create the system, then they hire managers to manage the system. So example would be like McDonald's. McDonald's runs on a system. None of the managers create the system. None of the managers change the system. They simply manage the system, right? Mm-hmm. So it's the same way with me when I built the record label. I know the systems. I built the systems of the record label from the HR department all the way to the production studio.
What's an example of a system? So like,
an example of the system would be, okay, you have to have your executives, your C-suite, right? CFO, CEO, COO, because you can't do everything. So you got to be able to delegate responsibility. So the first trick of an owner is learning how to replace themselves, right? I can't do everything, but this needs to be done. So I need to replace myself with somebody that can do it. That's when you bring in the necessary talent for your COO position, your CFO position, right? And then you see it, you the CEO. As you bring your C-suite in, then the next system is the running of the company. Now, we're a production company, so let's base it off of a production. How do we determine what production we're going to do? Once we determine the production, how do we start activating the production from before we even get to pre-development of the production, right? And so those are pieces that you put into the system. So that when you go in to do something else, they're managing the system. So it's running itself.
What if somebody's like, because you're on the business side of things. What if somebody's like, I just want to be an artist.
They need to hire a business partner.
They need to have that person. And how do they know if you're not savvy in that area? How do you know who's good? You don't know what to look for. How do you know what to look for?
So you look for First of all, it's not even about the person you hire, right?
Okay.
It's about you. You say, okay, all I want to do is create. Okay, what do you want to create? All I want to do is do film. All I want to do is do music. Whatever the case may be. Okay. So the thing you need to do is you find a business partner that can take your product and push it where it needs to be, right? You need to find a person that if all you're doing is create, what are the next steps what are the steps before the creation and what are the steps after the creation? Once you get those things in place, that's the person you need to hire to execute. You want the person that can execute the steps before the production, and you want the person that can execute after the production. Because all you're doing is creating. You understand? So you in this middle space, let's do it this way. You in this middle space, all you're doing is producing and creating. There are steps that happen before you start creating, and there's steps that happen after you create. Right? Then if you say, okay, here's an example. What I used to do with my consulting company, I used to say to my potential music artists, listen, are you telling me that you want to create music to live off of it? Or are you telling me you want to create music just to be happy? Which one? Because we're talking two different things. If you say you want to create music just to be happy, we'll just do that. But if you say you want to create music to live off of it and feed your family, now we're talking the music business. And the word business is bigger than the word music.
Is this why, I don't know how to ask this, but like, because I'm an artist, but when you're young, when you're an artist, you think, not you, but like I think of it like, I want to share my soul, this is coming from my heart. Right. But then they talk about all the seedy things that happen, all the bad things that happen in the entertainment world. Mm-hmm. They said music is worse than the movie business as far as I don't want to say evil, but it's harder. Is that why people get confused or sell their souls or like get messed up in the business because all they wanted to do, they didn't understand what you just said, of like, I want to be happy doing this thing. But they're like, somebody else is going to handle the business side. But then at some point when you're the product, when you're selling a product, you have to make compromises. And things are not going to always go how you envisioned it probably. You know what? You get more. Is there a? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, how am I? Do people have to lose their integrity or their artistry integrity to be in the business world? Do you get what I'm saying?
People, let me tell you, people sacrifice because they make that decision to do so. There is no force. They're forced. Let me tell you something. Same way we're gonna go here with the Illuminati thing, right? Illuminati, self-sacrifice, blood sacrifice, all this old stuff. You have people that may have cliques, right? They got a record label. At their clique, they may say, if you want to be in this clique, this is what we say you do. It's up to that artist to make that decision, right? I'm saying that from a factual standpoint. When I got with Black Hand, they had just signed a $30 million deal. They got $1 million signing bonus the year before I got there. They still had money left because I was getting a check. But we were never able to release the $30 million. We stayed on Sony Urban Epic Records for like another year and a half. We were never able to get the $30 million because we didn't know the business, right? For years I had blamed Sony until I launched the record and was like, oh shit, we didn't know the business, right? But that's a $30 million lesson. Nobody came to us and said, well, listen, if you guys sell your soul, we can go ahead and get this money released. Or if you guys do this, or you guys do that, we get nobody. And we was hanging with the biggest and the best at that time, right? Nobody came and positioned us that way. We turned around, it's just like it was, well, I'm not gonna say unfortunate, but it was unfortunate circumstances that we kept running into, right? So an example would be, we were there 2 years and a half, couldn't get anything done. So we get off Sony. 4 months later, about 4 or 5 months later, me and Chaz, we would go to LA to talk to Kenyvttv over at Interscope, but Chaz ended up having a conversation with David Dash because they in the same circle. So Dane ended up bringing us to Rockefeller, so we got to deal with Rockefeller. 4 months after we had Rockefeller, Jay-Z and David Dash split up. So we didn't know the business, so out of loyalty, Chaz goes with David Dash and not Jay-Z. We over at David Dash Music Group. The only thing we can get done is the TV show, The Ultimate Hustler. Because at that time, TV reality shows was kicking in, right? So we was there doing that. Dame couldn't get any music played, and he had us, he had MOP, he had Noriega, and he had Kid Riddle. Then Dame had an incredible idea because what Dame wanted to do was sign labels. He didn't want to sign just artists, he wanted to sign labels. He had an incredible idea. Unfortunately, it couldn't work because Jay was doing what he was doing, right? So that deal flopped. A few months after that, we ended up getting a deal with Def Jam. We had Def Jam, guess who become president? Jay-Z. So that deal flopped, right? So we were in position and we were making things happen, but there was no sacrifice. There was no blood sacrifices. There was no we joining the Illuminati. There was none of that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think. Well, first off, when you said Dame Dash wanted to buy a label, he wanted to sign labels. That would have been creating a system.
And that's what exactly.
Okay.
That's what exactly because he was doing that. Like he signed Noriega's Militainment.
Right.
You see what I'm
And then
saying?
it would have kept trading. Then Noriega would have done it.
Exactly.
Got you.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's a good example. Okay. And then I just think I don't think it's like sell your soul. I think that's a story that's like, easy to sell and like people, it's spooky.
See, because what happens is this, the sacrifice part. People hear people say, well, I sacrificed my soul. They're not talking about literally selling their soul. If somebody has literally sold their soul, who did you sell it to?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like reality, who did you sell it to? Because there is no fucking, real talk, right? So when a person is saying, I sold my soul, what they saying is, I put so much into my career. I miss my daughter's this. I miss my mama's this. Christmases, Thanksgiving this. I sold my soul. That's what they talk about.
And that's so true though. Like even pursuing this now, and I think this is I can't speak for everybody, but you're sold a dream, right? You're a little kid watching all these movies and it looks so glamorous and it looks like this is the thing to do, this is the thing to do. And then you think, you chase it so hard because you think it's, when you get there, it's gonna save you or whatever. And that's why you make all these sacrifices. But just pursuing it in the way that I had, I'm like, damn, I really gotta check in with myself because you can lose yourself, and and you lose your family, and that's when it's like it's lonely at the top, and you made all these sacrifices, and you look at yourself, you don't know who you are anymore. I didn't sell my soul or nothing, but I could see
it's the chase. Yeah. Listen, I get it. Like it's times I've looked up 10 years gone by, and I'm like, what?
I said I was going to release my autobiography called The Chase. Chasing. But I'm really having these, like, I don't know if it's existential, but I'm just having a lot of sit back moments like, what am I chasing? Why am I chasing this? What do I really want? And it's like, it's kind of like poo-pooed on to be like, I just want to have my family or whatever. Like, I just, that's not glamorized and like something to chase. But as I get older and I'm in this business, it's showing me what's really important. And this business is a business and it only loves you when you're good. It don't care about you. It's the product. If your product's not moving, you're done. You're out of here. And so it's like, but your family, you got a good family, you build that. They're gonna love you. Regardless. Good, bad, or different. And my family don't care about none of this. I told them we're gonna get to the movie, but because that's very important. But which is all the other things you said. Anyway, very important. But I told them about the movie. They're excited for me, but they don't care. They don't care. Like Selena is Selena, and we love her. We know her. We care about her. We don't give a damn what she do. You know, we don't give a damn.
And again, that's very important. And a lot of people need to understand, like, when you really have family, and like for me, like family, blood doesn't make you family. Blood is just a bond that you can build family from, such as like loyalty and love. Those are bonds you can build family from. And when you really have family, they're ones that love you like they love themselves. You know what I'm saying? They'll do for you like they'll do for themselves. They don't care about if you got a wooden nickel, they don't care if you got millions of dollars, like whatever. You and you, we love you. What's poppin'? You know what I'm saying? And people who don't have family, those are the ones who don't really understand the importance of family. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't be there, man, like rather you on top of the mountain or in the mud.
And I can't say this for everybody, but I had an epiphany and it just happened this year. I was like, this career is not going to save you. And I thought that. And I wonder how many people are chasing this dream, whatever it is, thinking it's going to save you. I promise you it's not.
And it's crazy because I just had a conversation with a little young artist that, I'm hoping I can still get him where he want to be. The boy is incredible. And he had a breakdown last night on the phone with me, right? And, to the suicidal point. And I'm listening to everything he's saying, and I'm saying to him, like, the very first thing you have to do is you have to find what is your happy place. What makes you happy? Because all that about will making me happy when I make other people happy, no. Because you're not going to be able to make everybody happy, so you can't pivot your life on that, right? You can't position your life on that. You can, when I can do it, I'm going to do it. But what makes you happy? Because once you understand what makes you happy and you embrace that, then the chase or whatever else you're doing becomes secondary. You see what I'm saying? Just like I told you when I walked away from
that's why you're not attached. And that's why people are so attached, because that's the only thing that they have.
Right. Because they never found happiness in self, right? Like I tell people, for me, I could never be alone because I have me. I can be lonely. Two different things, right? Same way with happiness. You can't pivot or you can't position your happiness on something existential. It has to be internal. Your happiness has to come from you, right? I like that pink cup, man. When I see pink, I just did it because I like pink,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not because pink like me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Not because it's pink roses or pink this everywhere. But when I see pink, I just because me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people have to get to. They have to get to what makes them happy from a self point of view.
Clip your mic on here, cause
Oh,
it's scaring me. I know that this sound will be crazy, y'all. Please still listen, cause he dropping gems. Yeah, keep it in. I never thought about this before. I was like, this got to get off this man. So I had another thought, cause everybody always says like, it's almost a cliche. Happiness is inside of you. But I was thinking, tell me what you think. Happiness comes from expression. Like, it's inside of me, but it has to be expressed. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, if dancing makes me happy, that's an expression of, but it still has to come out. It's not inside of you. It has to come out to be experienced, not for somebody else.
Right.
But does that make sense? I'm like, because I was walking, I was on a hike by myself, and I was like, what the hell? This happiness is inside me.
But let's go ahead and answer that question. When you hear a certain song that makes you happy, you don't sing it all the time.
Okay, that's internalized. But it's still something that's outside.
Right, but I'm saying because you live in a space, you live in an environment, you live in a world, right? So there's certain things that you perceive a certain way that makes you happy, right? It's your perception of the thing that makes you happy. Now, yeah, you can express that happy, like you hear a song like, oh, that's my jam, oh yeah, right? Or you see an artwork and you're like, oh, you stop and you stare at it, right? So you can do those things, but it's something that you internally feel, right? You can turn it on and you can turn it off. It's the same way with, like, I'm gonna give you another example. Misery. Misery. It doesn't exist for real. We make misery. Misery is our own making. It don't exist. Without you, there is no misery. That's why I'm never miserable, because I understand I can make misery. I can say I'm miserable. Well, you made that. You see what I'm saying? Misery don't exist without us. You see what I'm saying? So in the same sense, happiness. Those people that walk around, man, I don't know how, I'm never happy. Yeah, because you haven't learned how to make yourself happy.
How do you make yourself happy? Can you share it?
I don't know. Like I wake up happy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Why?
because I wake up. You know? I mean, a lot of things make me happy. I mean, I just like being able to create, right? And I'm saying that goes from just being able to sketch, getting an idea, and being able, you're going in the idea before it even do a camera thing or anything. That makes me happy, right? Being able to see something come from in here out into the world.
But that's expression.
Right, but I'm saying it's the ability of being able to do it. The ability to do it.
Okay.
Right, is what makes you happy. Seeing the end result is the expression. Doing it is the action. Right?
Yeah, the doing of it.
That's the
That's
action.
the happiness part, right?
No, the happiness part of it for me is when I create like with Black Velvet, right? When I created Black Velvet, it was done in a way where I'm like, oh yeah, this will be because I'm taking this piece and that piece that I've been sitting on for years and never put them in. And I was like, oh, these go together. And then I'm sketching like, oh yeah, this gonna be hot, right? So that's the happiness for me. Then when I'm doing it, I'm like, okay, it's coming. Even now, right? I'm happy about it, but I'm not really like ecstatic because I'm like, I got a lot more to do.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what that piece is.
That's what I think. I gotta think about this because I think that's how it feels like when you're in this business and you're doing a lot of things. I guess I put it on a pedestal, right? But when it come out, I don't care. Like I did 100 episodes of this show. When I first started, I was excited and I love talking to y'all. But when it's out, I promote it and then I move on to the next one.
You know what that's called? I learned this from a family member. It's called the newness. So there's a I'm gonna come back to the newness, that term. So there's a write-up where he was a poet named Khalil Gibran. And he said, a thing sought after is much longed for. Once it's obtained, the longingness of it disappears, right? Meaning we seek after things. And then once we get it, once we do it, it's like, okay, right? The person that seeks after the Mercedes Benz, man, I got to have that. That's a new one. Oh man, I got it. You see them 5 months later. Oh, that's a nice car. Yeah, it's cool. It's right. The newness of it has worn off. You see what I'm saying? And that's what it is. In your case, you're like, yeah, you must have, yeah, I did 100. Yeah, I can do it because I want it. It's cool. Because the newness of it has worn off. Right?
Is that the only way? Damn. Is that the only way to like be excited about something? If you're like, that's why I said, what's the next one?
So, no.
Okay.
Going back to scale up. How would you scale this up?
Yeah.
Right? Because then you're like, okay, I did it, 100 episodes, it's out there. Okay, what's the next phase?
That's the thing, the next thing.
Right.
Because this book I read, Tony Robbins, he said, a lot of successful people that you see are happy because they got the thing.
Right.
And they didn't know their next thing.
Exactly.
And they were chasing this one thing.
Right.
And then when they got there, it was like, this is it?
Yeah.
And then they didn't have the next thing. He said, always have your next thing.
Exactly.
Because, but that is always a chasing, but it's always a longing.
But it's a plan. See, here's the thing. Most people chase without a plan. Like, you gotta have a plan. Like, whenever I do anything, it's like, even before I really got into the film, I've always been in entertainment. I had a 15-year plan to get to TV and film. Actually, to be honest, I'm 4 years behind, right? That's just transparency. But I had a plan to get here. You see what I'm saying? And when I do my business plans, I always do phase A, phase B, phase C. So even when I scale all the way up, if I'm still in phase A, I'm still in phase A.
Do you write things down? How do you come up? How do you plan? You said you 15-year plan.
Yeah.
So do you spend time making the plan? You're treating your life like a business.
Yeah.
So you're writing this out. You know where you're going every day. That's why you're waking up happy because you know where you're going every day. I'm getting started because.
So yeah, I write them down. I mean, I write notes down. I use the phone notes. I use reminders. I put it in tablets. I email myself. All because you can lose track. Because certain things get to moving, you're like, let me go over here, right? Because you think that's the better way or that's the faster way, whatever, instead of looking at like, oh, here's the plan. How does that fit in the plan?
How often do you look at the plan and think about it?
I look at mine regularly. I even take like even on my blueprint, like I just did the promo piece where I just write it on the whiteboard, take a picture of it. That way I got it on the phone.
And you'll pivot if new information comes in. You'll pivot. You're not opposed to pivot.
I won't. No, not at all. Pivoting is life. You have to, because life does this. It doesn't do this.
No, it don't.
So you have to be able to pivot. And that's example. Like so, like to give you an example. So when I got into on the distribution side of the film, it's like okay, I have distributors. So I went with another distributor for a particular reason, right? Because of the deal we offered and everything. Like dope. But even in that, I learned more information. And the information I learned was like, okay, next project, I want to be able to control distribution in a sense where I don't give a global license. I give a license for US, but I need to have sale agents that are overseas so that I can now give those licenses, right? Pre-sales, whatever the case may be, territory. And so I'm pivoting. Because without that information, if you do the next project, after the next project, go to one of the distributors, let them do whatever, right? But then the pivot is no. Once that project is done, conversation, U.S. territory only, what that look like?
Okay. Speaking of pivoting, I'm gonna pivot real quick. So you seem like someone of integrity. I could be wrong, but I've met you a few times, and there's an energy, there's a vibe, and so I think it feels like that to me. And I want to say that to say, what do you practice? Can I ask you, is it religion, spirituality? Is it are you comfortable talking about that?
Right.
What do you practice? And do you think you're a person of integrity? What do you think? And how do you do it?
Absolutely. So for me, Again, I was raised as a Moorish American, right?
Okay.
Moorish Americans.
Forgive my ignorance.
Okay, so let me put it this way: when most people think that the average so-called black was brought over here on a slave ship, they weren't. Most of them were already here. But the slave thing happened because there was a war. Slavery was a war trait. It was a war tactic that was used against people of color. And that war tactic included stripping them of everything from culture, national identity, language, religion, everything, to strip them down to bare nothing in order to reinvent them. This was the war tactic. You can see these things in the history. I mean, I can point them out because I know the history of it, right? But these are factual pieces. So what happens is that Negro, black, colored, these were marks that were put on people that were identified as property. So they were slave marks, right? These slave marks identified what they call chattel property, slaves, or the enslaved people. So these marks became legally definitive terms to define a slave or a person enslaved. So when a word was black or colored or Negro, you were referring to property. That was the definition of it. In 1863, they abolished the institution of slavery, which means they abolished everything dealing with slavery. Slave ships, slave holders, slave identifiers, slave marks. So if you no longer can legally call these people black, Negro, colored, who are they? They have no identity. So there came a guy who identified and said, listen, you are a nation within a nation. Your bloodline extends all the way back to the ancient Moorish people. The people that they call Egyptian, they were Moors. So you can trace your bloodline all the way back there, all the way over to North Africa, all the way to Europe, all the way across the world. And so this is where the Moorish aspect comes in, right? And because of that, we're born in America. Now, with the Moorish aspect, I was raised that we're called Moorish scientists. The difference between a Moorish science and a European science. A European scientist study everything that you can see, taste, touch, hear, and smell. A Moorish scientist study that as well as everything that you can't see, that you can't taste, that you can't touch, that you can't smell, and you can't hear. And so for us, there's no one, we don't believe that there's no one piece. Like we'll say Islam in the aspect, not Islam as you know it from Arabia as al-Islam. That's known as the creed of Muhammad. Muhammad brought a particular creed to the Arabian people for them. But before Muhammad, there was an Islam dealing with self-law, right? So for us, Islam is an acronym for I, self, law, am master. So the self-law of internal is master. Where when you go back to ancient Egypt, they called it Hotep or Hetep, right? So you see the movie with the mummy, and the guy's called I'm Hotep, Imhotep. His name is I am peace, right? The guy who they call Jesus, whose name was Yahshua, right, or Esau in Arabia. His other name was also Emmanuel, which means in man God dwells, right? So what we believe is that the central us, not the physical, not the soul, but the central us is the principle that activates everything that we're about.
Wait, if you're not the soul or the physical, what are you?
Then you what they call the spirit.
The spirit, okay. A lot of people are born into a lot of things and they don't practice it. So what made you stick with it?
Because I always liked the history, right? I always liked history. And so with Moorish signs, like we have what is known as a Circle 7 or a Moorish Quran. And that Moorish Quran gives us 30 years of so-called Jesus life. It's not in the Bible. And so it gives us history of him in India, in Europe, in Africa, it gives us those historical points, which made me really start to study ancient history.
Ancient history. Have you studied any other religions?
I've studied all religions.
Which one is your favorite? You say that?
I studied all religions.
Because right now I'm obsessed with religion. But I don't know. I'm trying to know some different ones. Because I think it's important to read about all of them. But which recommendations?
So here's the key for me is I understand this. All is one and one is all. Right? So let me give you an example. In ancient Tabera, right, which Tabera is the name that they keep calling Egypt. Egypt is a Greek word that they apply to the land, but then people with Tabar or Tabarian. The Tabarian had one creative force that was known as nature. This is where they get the word nature from.
Okay.
Nature had over 120 energies, or some called gods and goddesses, that are known as the Netaru. So the Netaru would be who they call Osiris, Greek name, but his African name is Asat. Isis, her Greek name, but her African name is Aset. And on and on and on. There are different energies of nature, right? But man has said, oh, these are gods and goddesses. But in reality, it's just different energies.
When people pray, sometimes I be scared to pray, right? Because I'm like, who am I praying to?
Right.
Because there are bad ones too, right?
Well, no. The reality, let me tell you the reality. Evil is man-made.
Like misery.
Man-made evil. Evil don't exist beyond man. Think about this. When you see the bird, our evil not affecting them? When you see the groundhog, the horses, the evil is a man-made thing. This is why the Creator says, listen, you can pray to me all you want about help me take this evil. You got to do it.
Well, who's the devil then?
The devil is us.
We're the devil?
We're the devil.
I'm the devil.
You the devil. Because guess what? You make or mar. You make your own heaven and hell. You make your own heaven and hell. That's why it was good for you can be bad for somebody else. It was bad for somebody else can be good for them. You make your own heaven and hell. What is the devil? It says that the devil is the rebellion, right? In Islam, it's Shaitan. Some say Satan. Some say Lucifer. Man creates his own devil. We have what is known as a higher self. That's the spirit of us. And the lower self. The lower self is the carnal desires that come with this body, right? When those carnal desires are unchecked, that's the devil. Murder, theft, right?
How do you manage yours? Well, first, you got to know, right? What yours are, because everybody, we all have our own thing, what our flesh wants or whatever.
Exactly.
So, first I think knowing it, right?
Absolutely.
But then the taming of.
Right.
Or how you doing?
So it's just what you said. First you gotta recognize it. When you recognize it, then you're able to deal with it. Either you want to indulge or you not. It's simple.
So you just know. You're like, I know this is something I like.
Exactly.
My body is interested in murder or whatever.
Right.
But I don't even do it.
Right. Because the reality is that it has to, for me, right? Like example would be getting drunk, right? Yes, I drink. I'm a social drinker. Do I get drunk? No, because I don't like to be out of control. I don't like to not be able to control my arms and my legs and my limb and my mouth. I don't like that. So therefore, when I feel myself reaching that point, breaks. But I'm able to recognize it. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with anything. The first thing the person has to do is recognize, I like this thing here. Right? Okay, that's a carnal desire of the body. The body is not the bad, it's the desire, right? When you look at the carnal desire, we have a natural desire. See, desire unchecked is the devil. Let me put it that way, right? Because a person robs you because they have a desire to take something. They want your jewelry. They want your, right? The desire, so unchecked, that's the devil.
And a little bit of ignorance, right? Because they don't know there's other ways to get it.
Absolutely.
You don't gotta take it from somebody.
Absolutely. It's like, but even in this generation today, the problem is like I was telling some youth in the neighborhood, I said, listen, let me give you guys this one piece of advice, because I don't really, you gonna do your thing. I just give you one piece of advice. Always want what is yours. Do not want what is somebody else's, right? See, the problem, when I grew up, if I saw you in a nice car, hey, Miss Lady, how you get that car? I'm gonna ask you how you got it. I want that car, but I don't want your car. You see what I'm saying? Today they want your car. Like, I want a chain like yours. Today they want your chain. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference. They don't want to go get the chain for themselves. They want your chain. So when I explain to them on a deeper level, you have to understand that energy is attached to everything. So when you steal somebody's shoes, their energy is attached to that. You might not want that energy attached to you. Same way with everything else, their car, their chain, whatever. So always want your own. Don't want what another person has. Don't want their chain. You can say, I like your chain, I like to get me one like that.
Right.
But don't want their chain, because you don't know the energy that's attached to that chain.
What are your practices?
As far as?
Spiritual or religious? I don't know.
So I pray, you know what I mean, but I pray all day. Like for me, prayer is just a thought, right? It's just the thought of, it's not an outwardly ritual, it's not a show people you pray. You know, you can sit here and pray yourself, right?
Who you praying to?
I pray to the Creator. Because this is why. We all see the same creative force, but we just name parts of it that make sense for us, right? So you might see a God of mercy. She might see a goddess of love. He might see a God of war. He might see a God of justice. It's all the same creative force. You just name it a part that you understand, that you see. So when a person, like example, in Islamic terms, a person say Allah, right? But what they don't understand, you say that's the perfect name and it's not gender-based. That's a lie. It is gender-based. Because in the Arabic language, the et is the feminine, the is the masculine, right? So Allah simply means the great force.
So when you pray, like, just an example, like, thank you, Creator. You say Creator.
Let me tell you my prayer.
All right.
My prayer is when I wake up and go to sleep, or when I'm just grateful, I say, all is one is all. I would like to thank, nature. I would like to thank Tita Grammaton. I would like to thank Murugan. I would like to thank Allah. I would like to thank Allah. I would like to thank Elohim for all of the wisdom that you've given me.
Yeah.
I would like to thank Lordstress Omala. I would like to thank Lord Ganesh. I would like to thank Lord Guan Yu for all the will that you've given me. I would like to thank all of the Netaru. I would like to thank all of the Orisa. I would like to thank all of the cherubim, all of the seraphim. I would like to thank all of the archangels. I would like to thank all of the angels. I would like to thank all of the ancestors. I would like to thank all of the elders for all of the love that you've shown me. All is one and one is all.
Did y'all go to, when you were growing up, did y'all have a place that was a church?
We went to a temple.
A temple?
Yeah,
okay.
but I went to church too.
Okay. I was thinking about it a lot because I was raised in the Baptist church, Christian, and it was always, you're down and out, but God will take you out. And I don't like that.
Right.
Because I don't like to feel like, oh, I'm destitute, I'm horrible, I'm terrible, and I have to constantly ask God for forgiveness. Who the hell wants to live like that?
But that's because ones didn't understand that Christianity was a tool. See, Christianity is a man-made religion for a particular purpose. You see what I'm saying? And then when you talk about Baptist and Catholic and Protestant, those are just extensions. Well, Protestant, Baptist, and the other denominations are just extensions from Catholicism or Catholicism, right?
Yeah.
So now let's get to the root of it. And I'm gonna tell you like this for all religions. It's funny, but this is true, right? Jesus never brought Christianity. Muhammad never bought Islam or Mohammedanism. Buddha never bought Buddhism. Confucius never bought Confucianism. These are people that have come later on and read these particular prophets' work and said, oh, this is what they... So you're giving me an interpretation of what you think they were saying. Right? With the underlying factor that all of the religions say, nobody can save you. You can only save yourself. See, all the religions say that, right? When you read the Bible, in the Bible it says, when Jesus tells his disciples, be ye as perfect as your Father. How can you be perfect? Right? Think about people say, well, we're not perfect. We was born in sin. Well, if you come from a perfect source, then the seed of perfection is in you. Right? But how do you reach that? Well, you got to go through some things. But Jesus is telling you it's in you. Right? When you read the works that Jesus always said, he said, I didn't come for an outward kingdom. The kingdom is within. Don't they always say that? The kingdom is within. So what he's telling you is inside you is everything you need to save yourself.
Yeah.
But man comes and pimps the religion. Because if I can make you fear, then you give me control.
Yes. And that's what it is. And really, anyway, and I was trying to read about it. It was so boring, whatever. Like, especially the Old Testament.
Want me to help you scale that up? I can help you scale that up.
All right.
So there's a piece called The Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ.
I'm gonna write it down.
Yeah, The Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ. You will love it.
All right, and then I also want to ask you who was that poet you said about the longing?
Khalil Gibran. He wrote a couple of books. One of his famous ones is called The Prophet. Khalil Gibran. Gibran.
Okay, because I really like what you said that he said. The Prophet is one of the books. Okay. The last thing I'm asking about religion or spirituality, I don't know. It's a whole thing because I was raised in a church and I was like, I always had a lot of questions. But anyway, I believe in astrology and all that stuff too. And I was reading, so right now, because I'm reading about a bunch of different religions, I'm having fun. It's not the first time I did it, but I'm different now.
Right.
So I'm different than the first time that I was studying this stuff. Very different. And so, anyways, I'm reading about the Hermetic principles, the Kabbalah. I don't know how to say it right, but anyway, I really like it.
Want me to tell you what that means?
Yes, but they talk about astrology in there and like that. Anyway, what?
So people say, how do you know that there's a life after death? Because our ancestors went to the place after death and mapped it out. The Kabbalah is the map of the next realms of life. That's why when you read the first 3 chapters at the bottom, that's the physical world. And this is where we get the word, like people say, well, how do your prophet say you Asiatic when Asiatic means Asian? No. He's telling you the original Asiatic, which used to be ASSIAH, which meant the world. See, the Jewish Kabbalah comes from the ancient Canaanite Kabbalah, which the ancient Canaanite were a group of Moorish people. They were related to the Moabites. And so now when you look at the 3 bottom sephirs, it gives you a triangle sphere. But at the bottom, the very bottom, which means physical world, is the word Asia. ASSIAH. That's where we get Asiatic from the word. Now, when you go past those 3, the next 6 is the soul plane of life. And then the last 3 at the top is the spiritual plane of life. So our ancestors went to those planes and mapped out these different roads and pathways that you can take to get to each level within each plane of life. So we understand there's 3 planes of life, right? Physical, soul, and spirit. Now why is it far-fetched? Because they used to teach about it in class. Remember when they taught you about water? They told you it was 3 states of water. Solid, liquid, gas. All 3 can occupy the same space at the same time because they're at different levels. You see? So the soul plane is right here, but you can't see it because it's moving too fast. The spirit plane is here, but you can't see it because it's moving faster than the soul plane. They all occupy the same space,
Right.
but you can't see it because they move at certain speeds.
Do you believe in the tarot?
Absolutely. I believe in the tarot. I believe in astrology. See, there's no accidents. It's nowhere in the world people would say, when you look going back to Jesus, how did the three wise men find Jesus? They used astrology. They were astrologers.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
They say, oh, we follow the North Star. Well, how would they know about the North Star if they weren't astrologers? Right?
Okay.
So they understood astrology.
What do you think about spells and stuff? Because I did a ritual, but I wouldn't do nothing on nobody. But it was a jar for something.
Right.
But it was for me. It had nothing to do with nobody else.
Right.
It worked. And then they said when the jar breaks, the magic or the energy is exhausted.
It's
and
no-
it broke on my dresser by itself. I didn't touch it. And I woke up and it was broken.
It's known, all magic is known, and then watch this. The word magic, going back to what we just spoke about, the three guys that came to see Jesus, right? They were known as magi,
Okay.
which came from Persia and that whole land mass, right? The magi were the ones that understood earth science and astrology. The word magic comes from the word magi.
But how does it activate?
Because it's all earth science. So example would be, let's go to voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
If you take this herb and mix it with this chemical, and mix it with this chemical, it gives you this result.
Yeah.
So that's all they understood. So they understood that I need to mix this, let me ground this powder, let me get this type of blood, it's not necessarily the items, but it's the chemicals in the items and the reaction that they have with other chemicals to give you the effect. That's how they make zombies. So like example would be, like I met a Haitian guy years back, and he was telling me, he was like, well, you know we make zombies. I was like, how do you? So there's an herb that they have. They crush it up, and they find the tourist or somebody, they take the ID, right? Pickpocket, take the ID, so then you know about it. They take this herb and they blow it on the person. It sinks into the blood cell. The person doesn't even know the herb hit them because it's a powder, it's a fine powder. It sinks into the pores that goes into the bloodstream and it starts to slow down the heart. When your heart slows down, oxygen to your brain slows down. So the person drops to the point you can't get a pulse, but they're still alive. So because you have no ID, police come, pronounce you dead, they put you in a wooden box, bury you. Nobody gonna claim you. You have no identification. So the people who did it to you see it, they watch it the whole time, they go to the graveyard, dig you up. So then remember, at this point in time, your brain has been losing oxygen. So certain brain cells are dying off. So you kind of become that vegetable state. How zombies are, right? Then that's the science of it. So what I'm basically telling you is that when it comes to magic, there's certain sciences as far as add this chemical to that chemical, just the reaction. But even beyond that, when it goes to the magic you can't see, think about music. Add this noise, this frequency to this. You familiar with binary beats? Binary beats are beats that are made in a particular tone fashion that increases or helps your brain.
Binary beats. Is that why, sound baths, hurts?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Certain sounds done a certain way causes reaction.
Yeah.
Right? So now imagine being able to take that same frequency with word. Because that's what they're doing. They're saying words, chants a certain way, they give it a certain frequency to tone.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all science.
Okay. And that's why they like to bring it on an elementary level, and what we hear all the time is like powers in the tongue. Be mindful of what you say. Be careful what you say. And that's so real, because I manifested some shit I was not trying to manifest, kept saying it, not even thinking like, girl, are you hearing what you're saying, baby girl? Because it's gonna happen.
Because on the reality tip, everything is energy. Everything. This is energy.
Yeah.
It's just moving slow, right? The molecules, when they tell you about solids, they tell you they move slow, but they're still moving. It's energy. So now your subconscious makes no distinction between now, future, past. Your subconscious doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So when you implant certain things, subconscious attracts the energy.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's all science. Yeah.
I've been at, like, luckily when The Secret came out, that book, it changed my life because that was like a very rudimentary introduction to everything.
Right.
But if you go, then when you start digging, that book led me to, because I was so fascinated. And you know what's funny? When I first started it, I was manifesting stuff because I was like so excited. And I was like, but then as I learned more, the manifestation slowed down. Why did that happen?
Because you learn more.
Okay.
See, when you learn more, sometimes the complications of what you know, right? Because now, like, watch a person start on the block, moving, right? When they start a business, moving. Then when they start learning the analytics, then when they start learning the logistics, then when they start learning, things start to slow down because now they add those pieces which are complicated.
Well, maybe I should have added the pieces.
Well,
Am I reading too much?
I mean, that's why they say if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Ignorance is bliss. Well, see, it was exciting. Just like when you anything you're excited about, you want to do more and more.
Right.
Like when you like to read about ancient history. You wasn't gonna read one thing about it and be like, oh, I'm over. No, hell no. So it's like this was magic. It was. I thought like. I think, I don't know, the book says, go around and say, I can afford it. The next week, I got a $3,000 bonus. I was in my 20s. $3,000, I was 22, something like that. $3,000? What? They might as well give me $1 million. I said, oh my God, I manifested this, I did it. And then I started manifesting, I did the car stuff, I got the car manifest. I wanted a Honda Civic, a coupe, and I got it like a month later. And it was an Acura at that time, and then I got the Honda. But I wanted an Acura. It was a red Acura coupe. And I'm reading this book. I'm working at CarMax. The next day, because we could get cars that the never would go to the front because they had a defect or something, but it still be drivable or whatever. So I worked there. Next, I do inventory. Okay. The next day, the Acura comes in inventory. I said, what? It was just like I saw it. And then I had to get a loan and get cleared and all that stuff. It took about, it wasn't a month, couple weeks or whatever. I'm driving around in this Acura. Now, I didn't want that after a while, the maintenance and all that, but I'm saying, I was blown away. So, and now people hear about this stuff a lot, but back then, this Secret was the first book that was mainstream. But I hadn't heard about this, and I'm only growing up with the Bible that's like, not the Bible says this, but everybody, you're bad, and you gotta pray, because you suck, and you gotta repent. Like, okay, damn. But I get this book that's like, no, I'm not bad. You know? So you get the first thing telling me I'm not bad, and I'm not going to hell if I do one little bad thing. The fear tactics.
Absolutely.
You're damn right I'm going to take deeper. Stop at this. That's the whole light and sunshine. Because I'm going to church, and I love being in church. I love community of it. I love being with my grandma, and I love being around all the black people just loving each other. I love that. But I didn't love the pastor telling me that I'm going to hell every week and I'm gonna burn forever. I'm a little kid. I'm scared. That's some scary stuff. That's some scary shit. So I'm wrestling with that too. And even when I read about the different religions and all these things, I feel I'm betraying my family, right? Because they wouldn't like it. They heard me talking about
but
this.
here's the thing though.
But
what you have to understand is that they can't save you. You have a journey. See, even husband and wives lose the understanding that we all have a journey. Each and every one of us has to save ourselves. That's, you understand what I'm saying? Like, nobody can save you. Mother, father, uncle, son, nobody can save you. You have to save yourself. And the thing about it is that when the creative force looks at it and says, I've given you everything you need, you chose not to listen. So here's the repercussion. Here's the payment for that. Because you chose not to listen. You could have saved yourself over and over again because I sent you prophets, I sent you messages, I sent you this, I sent you. But you chose to put a wedge in between that, right? And so the last frontier on that is family, right? Bloodline. They'll make you think, well, we don't do that. This is our family. Yeah. This is like, no, you don't do that. You see what I'm saying? But I have to save myself.
Right.
Because think about it. If there's a day of judgment, when you standing in front of God or whatever it is, and he going through the book or whatever he doing, what you gonna say to yourself? Because your mother not stepping up saying, well, hold up, the reason why, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how you gotta really look at it. You gotta look at it like, I have to save myself.
Yeah, and I'm still love my family. I'm just
Exactly.
not betraying them. Yeah, because it's conditioning, right? So that's, you talking decades of hearing this.
Yeah.
And it's the first thing you were taught. And you love your family, right? Like,
my wife had me read a book, which right there is called Agreement. The book is called The Four Agreements.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The first one is wait. Don't take anything personal. That's
right.
what you're talking about.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
And so that's all you saying. These are agreements that were made when you was a baby.
That's
true. You know, and see that's the ironic part. Well, not ironic, but that's the drawback of babies because they love you and they loyal to you and they trust you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And it's us as adults that put our shit on them.
Right.
Right, and they agree because they like, well, this is the person that feed me.
This person take care of me.
Right, and
This
so they
survive.
agree to what you say,
Yeah.
even though it's faulty. And then we have children that grow up with faulty understanding.
And then luckily, well, I don't know if it's lucky, but I had to challenge it. What happened? I remember the day I had to challenge it. I was in church, and I didn't have a dad. I don't know my dad. And I'm reading the book myself. I always like to read, luckily. I'm like 7 years old, I think, because my brother wasn't born yet. Anyway, and I read this part, just opened it, and it said, for the woman to get married, the man has to give the father the donkeys or whatever. And I was like, well, I can't get married because I don't have, because I'm 7.
Right.
I'm like, well, I can't get married because I don't have a dad. I closed the book, and I ain't fuck with that shit for a minute. At 7, I was like, I'm gonna come here and sing my songs because I like singing with y'all. Y'all cool. But because they're gonna tell me I ain't getting married. You get a child, okay? That ain't my fault. I ain't no dad. How you gonna put that on me? And I can't. That ain't right. That don't go right. But I didn't think that. I already knew intuitively. Children are very intuitive. You don't challenge that. And I ain't say nothing. I ain't no fool. But I had a quiet questioning.
And see that right there, that shouldn't even be in society. In society, it shouldn't be children shouldn't ask questions.
Oh yeah, I think that's changing now. But I grew up in a time.
Me too, right?
So they got gentle parents now.
Yeah.
So it's very different. But back then.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of the conditioning that our people in now is because of that.
We couldn't question things.
Because we'll say shit like, they too young to know about that.
But it's also, they were working off the understanding that they had, right? So I don't want to blame, but and then I'm coming from a generation that's just thinking about survival. My grandmother picked cotton. She wasn't a slave, but she picked cotton for her family. Like you're coming from, I'm picking cotton all day. We living in a
sharecropper.
Yeah, she lived in a shack, not a shack, but they live in a house. No electricity, all that kind of stuff. That wasn't weird back. She's born in the 30s or whatever.
Right.
So we're coming from these generations who are like, we're just trying to survive. It's a survival mindset. We don't have time to be challenging things and questioning, reading all this. We read the Bible, we go to work, we get some food, we do it again. Like we love each other and care about each other. We got each other's back. That's it. That's really all it was. It wasn't, you get to dream. I wasn't coming from a family of dreamers and.
You see, that's the difference. Like I was.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm coming. So my whole mind was everything I learned or taught. I taught my family loved me. And I love them. But everything the way I live is things that I learned outside of that.
Right.
I'm coming from a family of just survivors. You
Right.
know, in the survival mode. So it wasn't a lot of room for.
Challenges.
Yeah. Oh, let's talk about tarot. Girl, shut up.
Yeah.
Go on, like, we going
Well, then they go back to what you said, like a lot of them didn't know. You
Yeah.
know, like if they knew, I mean, it would have been different. It is different pockets.
And they grew up in fear mongering.
Yeah.
So they're coming from the South. We coming off the hills of slavery. We coming off Just keep your head down so you don't get in trouble.
Yeah.
And then the church is telling you, you do anything bad, you're going to hell.
Yeah.
This is deep-seated fear. We're not even going to get into racism, what that does to your psyche.
Right.
So you're just dealing with a whole bunch of fear.
Trauma.
Yeah, you're not going to ask a lot of questions because that says I'm not going to live. And we have an instinct, a natural instinct to survive. So you're in survival mode. You don't have time.
Right.
And especially if they're telling you that's going to make you go to hell and burn forever. Yeah, I'm not going to question.
Yeah.
I was lucky to live at a time where I could secretly question. I had time.
Right.
And my family, we were just in a different time. You know, we were good.
Right.
Like, we weren't as, it was coming down like a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, every generation be like, oh, I can play and have
Right.
fun.
You got a little breather room.
Yes.
Right.
So I want to keep creating that in our family. But, so yeah, that's why I got lucky. Or whatever the higher
It
powers
was
that
meant. I mean,
be. Yeah.
in these days and time, in your time of growing up, it was meant. Like you can see it's called the age of mankind, right? In certain ages, there are milestones that happen. Because like the reality is, for me, I always understand that creation is still unfolding. See, most people think, yo, creation 7 days and that was, no, we still in creation because we have to reach a certain level of effectiveness. And so in order to do that, we still in creation. You see what I'm saying? But most people, because they don't look at that, they don't understand why the world is this way, why the world is that way. Because we're in the process right there, like we was here, but then we had to regress in order to get back up ahead. So
that's crazy. I just read about that this morning, like in the hermetic principles,
right.
the pendulum. That's why how life is.
Yeah.
So like
It's everything. Business has peaks and troughs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everything is that way. And if you don't understand it, then when certain, that's why like with me, I don't, oh my God, why is this happening? Well, I mean, life is peaks and troughs. I mean, some days it's gonna be up here, some days it's gonna be, you gotta ride it out. You know what I mean? Like I had to tell a person the other day, I said, listen, here's the reality. If this is what you're going through, if you do this or do that, you still gotta go through that. So it's not changing. You see what I'm saying? So if you're crying about it, it's still there. You know what I'm saying? If you're working on it, it's still there.
When you have valleys in your life, you know what I'm saying, the lower point. How do you? Because I know that you understand these things, but still, you're still human, and you still.
I mean, but and that's the key. It's part of the human experience, right? Like I know we're not humans on a spiritual journey. We're spirits on a human journey. So in being in this physical body, in this physical world, you're going to deal with some things. So when those things come, you have to acknowledge it the same way you like yes, you have to like no.
And you don't trip.
No, because it's like for me, like I'm gonna give you an example. My mind is like, oh, it's raining outside, shit, that's good. Just like it's when it's sunny outside, right? So when a person's like, tell me no, for me, no doesn't mean no. Because I know if I ask one question, I'm able to flip that no into a yes.
But what if something like, not gonna like say you got, this is crazy,
What?
but I just didn't want to say nothing too crazy. Anyway,
Don't say it.
You get kidnapped or something.
Right?
How do you understand, right? No.
No, you gotta figure out, okay, if I'm in a kidnapped state, you can't, it doesn't matter if you panic, because you're still kidnapped.
Okay.
So now is I'm in a kidnapped state, how do I figure it out? What do they want? How do I keep them away from killing me enough
You just
so that I
figure it
can,
out.
you have to.
That's what, so you're not panicking, you're not mad, you just are figuring this out.
Exactly, because here's the thing, like I learned emotions. What are emotions? Emotions are nothing but chemical thoughts. That's all emotions are. They're thoughts that we have that trigger certain chemicals in our body that make you feel a certain way. That's all emotions are. So when you go through something, you get mad at it, it's still there. You panic, it's still there.
What if somebody messes with your family?
If I get mad about it, I still have to do something about
You
it.
still want to do something.
You have to do, but here's the key for me. I'm gonna get the circumstances what they demand. Depending on what they did and how they did it, I'm gonna look at it and I'm gonna return based on the circumstances. right? But I'm not going to do it from an emotional standpoint, because from an emotional standpoint, you can go overboard.
So you like it's a cause and effect.
Exactly, but that's life. Like for me, really, that is life. Like if you sit back and you mad about this, or you upset about that, or you ain't, okay, cool, but did you solve it?
What do you do about your emotions?
I mean, but for me, like, I had to learn as a youth because I'm Gemini mixed with Taurus, right? So when I used to get mad, literally, all I saw was red. There's no talking, there's no discussing, there's none of that.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we at. Because I'm mad, I'm angry. And so whatever happens, this is the reward that you get. Because this is what you got from that. So I had to learn my trick.
What we were talking about earlier.
Exactly.
Knowing yourself and knowing what to do.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So when I know, even with my wife, when I'm about to get there, I say, listen, you're making me mad. So because I'm about to get mad, this is what I'm about to do.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
You gotta manage it.
Exactly. Because it's self. You like people don't understand everything is self. Like, let me tell you the difference between success. It's only two things that separate people from success and failure. Time management and money management. If you can manage your time, you can manage your money. But in order to manage your time, you gotta manage yourself. You see what I'm saying? You gotta have self-control to the point where you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this for the next hour, I'm gonna do this for the next 3 hours, I'm gonna do this for the next, and you gotta have the self-control and the discipline to do it. Once you can control your time management, money management is like that. That's the only thing that separates success from failure. If you want to throw information in, because information is power. Most people are stuck in situations because they don't have proper information, so they can't make proper decisions.
It's like you don't know what you don't know. But I feel like in this day and age, the resources that we have,
but again,
figure it out.
Right? But again, that's when you get to a person who thinks they're complacent. Right? You ever met a person that's complacent but complaining?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you be complacent in what you do, but you complaining every step of the way? Then you're really not complacent. But you say, well, I don't want to go read that. I don't feel like studying that. I'm good. I'm cool. But you know what? I should be making more money. Or I should be. So how are you complacent but complaining at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And so that's why a person doesn't seek for the information. When you seek information, life changes like that.
Yeah, it really does. So how does time management equal
Money management?
Yeah.
Because time is money. Any time of the day.
Okay.
Right? Everything that you're doing is what? To pursue, other than the conversation we have about spirituality, everything else is to pursue what? Livelihood.
Yeah.
And the livelihood is based off of a structure known as money.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now when you understand, okay, if I gear my time this way, when I start to see success, I'm able to manage the success because I'm able to manage my time.
Uh-huh.
See, rich people, this is what rich people do. Rich people rich people pay so they can have time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they understand time.
Yeah. I had my friend Nate, she's the nanny. She's a young girl. She's a nanny for a lot of rich families. And I asked her what did they all have in common. And she said they delegate.
Absolutely.
They delegate.
Absolutely.
That's the
Because they know that,
consistent.
look, time. I can't do this. Because if I'm doing this, that's suffering. If I'm doing this suffering. But if I'm delegating it, it's being done while I can do other things.
And that's knowing too where to put your time and energy, knowing where it's best suited.
Which goes back to what? Self-discipline, knowing you.
Mm-hmm.
See, self is the key to it all. We live in a time where people have taken self in a way where they now blame other things, right? Oh man, I couldn't do it because they did this, or he did this, or he wouldn't give me the opportunity, or he did. Listen, all that's nonsense. All that's nonsense. A person tells you, this is a key example. I say about information, I'm about to give you some information, right? You walk in the bank. You say, I'm trying to get a loan for $100 million. Okay, what do your credit look like? Well, check it out. They say no. You say why? Because you don't have this, you don't have this, you don't have this, you need this, you need this. Okay, cool, no. Roll out. I'm going to get that, 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 I'm going to get that. Then I come back. I need a loan for $100 million. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there is no, they didn't give me, or they did this, or this got my way. It's self-control. You have to put yourself in the position to know I control my own destiny because I'm pushing.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so when you understand that there is no outside forces that come, that's when we go back to the question about the devil. Right? Oh man, it was a demon. Yeah, it's a lot of demons walking the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like we see them every day. You did well that, so there's no nothing spooky about it. You know what I mean? So if you can see these demons, well, how do we know they're demons? Because we see their actions. What is a demon? A demon is an evil lower being, and it does what? Evil. So when you see people doing this, you're a demon. It is what it is.
And you're right about creating your own luck. Pursuing, I feel like nothing happens by mistake, right? Like, so when you feel called towards something, it's for a reason.
Absolutely.
And I think if you go towards it, you become not the best, you become the most you can be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But on a side note of that, like, people say good luck, bad luck, go on, handle luck, whatever. No, you really do create your own luck. And it's by taking action and staying on the path. Like,
Absolutely.
And it's going to keep revealing itself to you. It's like that Martin Luther King quote, like, faith is having taking the first step, even though you can't see the staircase, right? That's what your path is like. You don't know, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm telling you the truth. I don't know. I'm figuring it out every step. As I keep walking, more is revealed, and then I can do what I need to do with that information.
Right.
But you create your luck
And so
by showing up.
what you do is you put a goal. Like I just told my wife this the other day. You throw a goal. If you're doing this, what is the goal? What is the highest goal you can reach in doing this? Okay, that's that. After I reach that goal, there's another goal.
Yeah.
Then after that, another goal. So there is no stopping what you're doing. You see what I'm saying? And so then, like, you have to also, as we spoke of earlier, be able to pivot it or parlay it in a way where if this come up, can I include it? Can I make this overrule this? Can this be, how does this work? If this come up, how does it affect this? If this come right, and you're not gonna know, like you said, because as you're going through it, boom, boom, you never see it, right? But you have the ability to say, okay, oh, this is what's happening? Okay, how can I make that work? Or what can I do with that? Or with it, right? Instead of, oh man, this is happening, I don't know, right? All that old type of stuff. And that's the piece that a lot of people don't understand. You have to control your own destiny. The universe gives you every religion. Let me tell you this, going back to religion. Every religion you read, Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, Zoroastrianism, Islam, Christianity, Baha'i, you name it. Every religion you read, there's a workbook. Whatever book was put together, everybody in that book, they put the work in. They doing some things, right? In the Bible, Jesus had to get him on the cross. Abraham took his son up to the hill. Moses had to go there and talk to the Pharaoh. You see what I'm saying? Samson had to go up and push the things. They put work in. They did some things. That's why in the Bible it says faith without work is dead. You see what I'm saying? You got to put work in. In the Quran of Mecca, Allah says, do you think to profess you believe and not be tested? You see what I'm at?
Yeah.
You got to put the work in. So that's what people keep failing. Oh, I'm going to pray to God. No, God will say, look, I gave you everything it takes. Put that work in.
But that's the story they tell you. Just keep praying. Just pray. I hate to say it, but I hate, like, you got a problem. Just pray. Just pray. What are you? Okay, fine. I'm not saying not to pray.
Right.
But then what?
Right.
You can't just pray and be like, okay,
It's
I
what
gave it
happens.
to God.
Right.
I gave it to Him.
Right.
I can understand, like, you computer.
Right.
But you still gotta do stuff.
And that's the part they miss. Just what you just said. The prayer is two things in the prayer. One is I'm surrendering this, right? But I find a solution. I'm surrendering it, so I'm not.
Right.
Okay, I'm surrendering it. Okay, let me find a solution.
And I was just about to say, when I pray, I get clarity. Like, not every time, but I'll be praying about something and then like something will, I'm like, oh, okay. and sometimes it'll go months and I'll hear nothing. I'm like, what you gotta say something. I'm like, saying nothing. I'll be like, well, I'm mad now. I'm like, well, I don't care. I say nothing. I'm like, but it really does give you information. And then when you say control your destiny, like, you tune in, you listen, you follow it,
right? You
create your life.
Yeah, because here's the thing. And here's a piece I learned. This is crazy how I learned it too. It's crazy. So we're talking about fate, right? People say, oh, everything is predestined, or everything is fate, or everything is right. So let me give you a backstory. I had a guy who was doing 420 parties. Okay. And I don't smoke weed, right? I'm more of a social drinker. So anyway, at this time, I was with a partner and we was pushing cupcakes made with liquor. And so we come to the 420 party and I'm there 3 hours. Everybody's smoking. So you can imagine the contact. I was high for 3 days after that. Yeah. But, so as I'm going home, whatever's in my view starts to shrink and then double. And then shrink and then triple and then shrink and then quadruple and shrink and then, so it starts to just multiply, but it's the same thing, just multiplied. And then I blink and it changes. And I blink and it changes. I'm like, what came to me was that every step that we make, like we say, everything happens for a reason. Not only does everything happen for a reason, everything happens when it's supposed to happen. And everything happens the way that it's supposed to happen. You may not need to trip over the rug, but it was meant for you to trip over the rug. And the way you tripped over the rug was the only way you could trip over the rug. Because if not, you wouldn't have tripped over the rug. Right? So what that means is that it came to me that every move we make, when we get out of the bed or we stay in the bed, causes a recalibration of our universe. So every move we make, this is why fate is not preordained or predestined. Because every move we make or don't make causes a recalibration of our universe.
Like the butterfly effect.
Like the butterfly effect. Every time. So you going down this road. You go this road, whole scenario recalibrate. It's the multiverse thing, right? Different lifetimes, different things happen. There's a million possibilities. That's what that is. In each moment, there's a million possibilities, right? So you go down this road, universe recalibrates according to you just went down that road. You go down that road, universe recalibrates based on the decisions you made and going in, and that's how you get to where you're going.
I just saw this girl say basically what you're saying. There's all these timelines happening, and if you want to shift your reality, if you want to, I forgot how she said it, but she was like, when you go into a routine and you do the same thing every day, it just keeps the same, it perpetuates it.
Absolutely.
She's like, just take a different way to your car.
Absolutely.
Walk to your, it'll reset it.
Absolutely.
She said, just get out a different side of the bed, it'll reset.
Yeah.
Like, just do it. And so my life is not routine at all.
Wow.
But I was like, let me walk differently to the mailbox.
Yeah.
Let me do this differently. Just because I'm in a season right now, like, I need some things checked.
Right.
So I was like, let me go and do this. I've been reached that thing. It's still in a transition, but I'm like, oh no, baby, we got to do something different.
But see, the thing is, you action oriented. That's the thing, Selena. You action oriented. You taking proactive steps to make change. You're not sitting back saying, "Oh, okay, you gonna come kiss." So the way it's happening, you know what I mean? Like you, like no, you need some things differentiate around here. And
Yeah.
so this is what it's gonna be.
My brain works. Everything can be like I don't know if it's a metaphor or whatever, but go how working out works. If you want to lose weight and change your body, you gotta go to the gym.
Absolutely.
And nobody can do it for you. You gotta do it, be consistent, and you just gotta do the work. Period. That's how I look at life.
Yeah.
I don't care what you want.
Yeah.
The choices that you make create whatever you're seeing.
Absolutely.
So if you see this body you want, you can't have it.
Right.
You can, and I don't care how much money you have, you can get surgery all day long. You have to maintain that.
Yeah.
You have to do the work, period. You got to research your workouts, and you got to show up, and then you got to go home and hydrate, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But that's how I look at life. No matter what you want, whatever you see, the only person who can get it for you is you. Nobody's going to give it to you.
Absolutely.
And even if somebody gave it to you, you have to maintain it.
And that's on the spiritual level. Like, who you think will save your soul? Same thing, exactly what you just said, walking through the physical world.
Yeah.
Who you think will save your soul? You got to do it. Nobody coming to save you. And, oh, we don't know. You will do it. And this is why I keep telling people, like, if you read the books and you study the religious books, it tell you these are workbooks. People put work in. They didn't sit back and talk about, you know, pray, thank God got me. You know, no, they put work in. So what makes you think you don't have to? You see what I'm saying? All that stuff about, well, we just gonna do, you know, we gonna do this, and then we gonna go to church Sunday, and we gonna, and what? That doesn't save your soul. That doesn't help your soul.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Even the contradictory point where, oh, you know, and I say this not from a disrespectful point of view, but from a logical point of view. If Jesus came and saved you, why do you have to repent? You understand? If Jesus, I mean, let's do logically. If me and you at a restaurant and I say, look, every time we eat out, I got the bill all the time, then why the next year you paying the bill? If I told you I got it, I took care of all that, right? So logically, if Jesus came, died on the cross for all of our sins, why do I have to repent then? Why do I have to go to church and ask for forgiveness or any of that if he already paid the bill?
And somebody told me if you have faith, don't keep praying for the same thing. Like if you pray for it, like if you ask for something or whatever, you gave it to God. If you trust that, why you keep asking?
Right.
Somebody read my energy at a networking event, and he was like, "You need," and I didn't tell him this. He was like, "You need to stop praying for the same thing every day." He's like, "You praying for the same thing every day.
Wow.
That shows no faith." And it's never gonna happen because you're not giving it. You know, you didn't give it away. You holding on so tight. And I still, that's something I work through. So it ain't stopped that day. But I'm like, dang. So I'm working on that. That's so. I'm like, yeah, that is not showing faith.
Yeah. So the thing is, what I would do in that case is, what's the steps to get it? Like once you pray and you put it out there, you know what you want. Okay, what's the steps to get it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Go get it. Go. Yeah, no, that's mine.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And go get that.
But I be wondering, because I pray for my family every day, I pray for protection. I'm like, should I keep doing that every day? I'm like, because where's the line to that? You know what I'm like? If you have faith and you pray for protection, then you got to pray for it every day. And I'm like, shoot, it's new devils, it's new people coming every day.
No, you pray for that every day, or you acknowledge your gratefulness.
Yes, I am
protecting me. You know what I mean? That piece there. Right. You know what I mean? But I think mainly what he's talking about in that sense is, you know, something material or something health for somebody else, right? And even in that case, it's giving it to the universe and let that person do what they have to do.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's definitely that piece.
It's almost 3 o'clock. Are you?
Good.
Okay, I was like, because I know your phone. You haven't looked at your phone. Oh, you got watch.
So I put them on.
Okay, so I was like, does he know what time it is? Okay. But I don't want to keep all day. So before we close out, the whole reason you came is because of Black Velvet.
Black Velvet.
So this is a movie that is on Amazon right now. I got the privilege of doing a cameo. I had lines though. Y'all gave me lines, but I was playing myself for You Plus Happy. But you want to talk about Black Velvet?
Yeah, so Black Velvet, it's a woman empowerment film. You know, it's a criminal drama. Shot in Atlanta in the Castleberry Hill area, which is the art district of Atlanta. It was a lot of fun. You know, we shot it, the neighborhood got involved in it. my wife, she's business partner and owned piece of a bar called Bottle Rocket, and you know, make sure you guys check out Bottle Rocket. They moving to middle of the street, but the new menu.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that. I mean, they had a peanut butter chili sauce French toast. It was like, yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah, and so he doing a pescatarian, a pescatarian.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's seafood oriented. So it's dope, you know what I mean? So that's Josh and Bonnie at the end of the film with me in there. So they made a cameo.
Okay.
But yeah, the film is out. It's been doing wonderful. I think that it was divinely blessed and divinely orchestrated from the very beginning of the film. From the point of how the film came into being, how the cast came together. Each people did new people to bring people. So it's definitely a great project, and I'm happy with it.
One of the stars, Haley, was on the show as well, and she spoke very highly of the set, and she was wonderful.
Yeah, I saw her clips.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
Haley know I be on her page.
I got a chance. I was lucky enough to be at the premiere, so it's really good. So make sure y'all go check out Black Velvet on Amazon, and it's gonna be.
Yeah, it's on Amazon right now, so you can put in Black Velvet or Black Velvet 2025. It should come up, and it's supposed to be being picked up by Fossil TV. From what I received, Fossil TV supposed to be picking it up. But right now, for sure, it's on Amazon. And I mean, this is the point where I went to my Amazon.com. You know, when you order gifts and all that, it is on there.
I saw it. Then you post a screenshot, and I sent that message to my family.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I'm on Amazon, y'all. So.
I'm on Amazon, y'all. Yeah.
What else I ask you? Oh, were you working on anything else?
Oh yeah. So right now I'm in the promo campaign for Black Velvet, right? Promo is key. I don't know if I told you we went up to New York to a film festival.
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah, we went to New York. They wanted to screen the film, and it was a historical theater known as the Triad. And so we went to the film festival. Went up there for the screening, and ended up winning an award.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, so we won an award for best costume design, modern, and so I'm like, oh no, so I can say the award-winning film.
Wow.
Yeah, Black Velvet, award-winning film. You know what I mean? So we promoted that piece out, and then future tense I have so one of my production partners came to the premiere. She saw the premiere, and immediately she was like, I want to have that turned into a series. And I want to pitch it to a major studio. I'm not going to name the studio, but a major studio. And so I just finished writing the pilot, so she's going to critique it, and then once we get the pilot done, get the deck done, then we off to pitch that.
Is that for, Black Velvet as a TV series?
Yeah.
Well, write me in.
Oh, absolutely. You know,
I can send you my demo reel.
You already sent it. I got
Oh, okay.
But I mean, that's just one of the projects. So that project, then I'm waiting on this other little piece to kick in. Hopefully it kick in the next 2 or 3 weeks. If it does, then top of the year or end of the December, top of the year, I want to start shooting before it get cold, a film that's called Urban Canvas Crown. And what that is the Thomas Crown Affair meets Empire. It's dealing with street art, street style writing, and pushing it to become a refined luxury piece. So that's a film, and then I have an animated film that we'll be working on called Enigmas, which is in the vein of it's a martial arts film. You know, people of color, different nationalities, and yeah, it's exciting.
I produced animation too for 5 years.
Oh, no.
That's my
day job.
Yeah, that's my day job.
You say produce as in?
I put the projects together, but they're short animations. They're short explainer animations. I'll show you some of my work, but the client comes to me like you would be say that not for this project, but like you would be the client, and you can tell me your vision, and then I'm putting the puzzle pieces together. I'm getting the right animator for the style, understanding what you want, then hiring the voiceover artist, directing them, working
I
with
might end up bringing you on for producer of that project.
working the script, right, with the script writing.
Yeah, I got a guy over in Africa.
The storyboard.
Yeah.
You're the second person that said that about animation.
Yeah.
I love animation.
I mean, seriously, I might bring you on for producer for that, then just connect you to my guy overseas
Okay.
and let you run that project with him.
Okay.
You know
Well, let me know.
Oh, for sure.
You got my info.
Yeah.
You know where I be at.
I mean, so
See
that's
me all the
that
time.
one. What else? So then the last one I want to say, so I'm bringing out this other one is a docu-series called The Shakur Factor. And so the Shakur Factor would deal with Dr. Matudu Shakur, who again was Tupac's father, and his influence on not just the music industry, but his impact on the world, culture.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something I want to work on, hopefully the top of the year, and get that project moving.
I ask all the guests this. How do you know who to work with and who not to work with?
I mean, for me, it's based on what the project is, what I want the project to look like, and then connecting the dots from there. So you know if the pieces fit or the people fit based on conversation or based on their work. If you're talking cast, if you're talking crew, based on work that they've done, like you just told me about the work in animation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh yeah, no, that worked for me because I can bring you on as a producer. For that. That way, that takes the heavy lifting off of me.
Mm-hmm.
That's your skill set. Both be perfect for that project.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's just simple as like paying attention.
That's it. That's what life anyway. It's just being aware. Being aware. Be like again. It goes back to what I said. Remember, I said you have to know what you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, let's say the film, the animation film. I know what I want. I know how it should look. So now when I meet the people, like I just met you, and you told me about your ability, that works for this project because I know that I have somebody that can communicate the animation language, knows about how to voice over, right? Knows about different animated styles. So you know that language, where I don't. You see what I'm saying? So it just, I know what that project needs. I know what it looked like. Here's people that fit the puzzle. Or 50 piece.
And paying attention to the, maybe like a red flag, because like some people are BS.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So how do you know?
Trust me, like, so let me tell you my formula. When I moved to Atlanta to get into the business, right? And once I reached a certain level as far as like network, whatever, I was to the position where I'm like, I take all, well, first of all, from the music industry, I take all meetings. Because one meeting may lead me to another meeting that may lead me to the person I meet. So that's that. But in meeting a person, we got 3 meetings. That's all you're going to get with me. We're going to get the first meeting to see if we can do business together. If we can do business together, then we're going to move out on that and talk about execution. That's the second meeting. The third meeting is we already doing business, we already moving, and then we following up because we're in execution mode. That's it. There is no meet to talk about it, meet to talk about it, meet to talk about it, meet to talk. We're not doing all that, right? So that's that piece because it goes back to what I said, time management, right? So I'm gonna give you an example. I literally 2 days ago had a meeting with a potential PR. The meeting was already set weeks in advance. Then, during the day of the meeting, I get a message, hey, can we push the meeting back an hour? Hey, cool, fine. It works for me. Get to the space at the time, and I ask the person, I say, now you saying it this time, are we saying around this time, or are we saying at this time? Oh, no, at this time. Fine. Okay, get there, sit there, wait. 10 minutes go by. Okay. 15 minutes go by, I text. 17 minutes go by, I text. 20 minutes go by, I call. 27 minutes go by, I call. Then I leave a message and go. Because you're not gonna, whatever happened, I don't care if you got hit by a bus, right? You knew the time that was set. And I'm here. at this time. You know I'm here because I sent you the message. I'm here. So for you not to text, call, or whatever the case may be in a timely fashion, even if you call a text after I'm done, I don't care because it's not timely.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was timely before I left.
Right.
Once I leave, it's no longer timely. So it doesn't even matter. Right? Whatever the reason is, you calling, you texting, whatever the reason, doesn't matter. It's not timely. That's how serious it is for time management. Because now, and for me, I laughed about it when I was driving. I was like, wow, this is the second person in my life that has wasted my time. I don't have my time wasted.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Because I understand time management is a very, very important key.
It's a non-negotiable.
It's non-negotiable.
So that person's just out.
Yeah,
you don't
because,
let people change.
no, because just what? See, I told you, by me being a Gemini, because Gemini and Taurus mix, by me being a Gemini, I'm blessed to be able to see a thing all the way to the end results. That's the blessing I have. The Geminis are flighty, though, right? So they can see the whole thing, but before it's done, they got I'm over it. But
yes, they do.
Right?
That's why we don't like Geminis.
But the Taurus in me allows for me to stick to it, to the end. So I'm saying that to say this. This person we talk about, okay, I give you a chance, right? You already wasted my time, right? So now I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me go ahead and do some business. Would you give you a shot? But I'm doing it now with a fear. Because you wasted my time on this, which means you're not timely. So now, who's to say that a project comes down and it needs certain things to be executed from a promotional standpoint and you don't execute them timely?
Right.
Right? The fault is not yours, it's mine.
Yes. And that's the thing that that's a huge mistake I made in my life a lot. Like giving people so many chances. They already showed me who they were. Like people show you who they are pretty quickly.
Absolutely.
And then one caveat is I'll say people are different with different people, right? Like you're meeting a different version of me than my mama or somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like anyway. So that's one thing, but. Overall, in general, people show you who they are very early on.
Yeah.
And then me, that's not the flag's not red enough. let me see the more flags. I need to see 20 red flags. I'm like, let me go the other way. My bad. They just showed me 10 red flags. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. You give people grace. Shut up and get away from them. They never. And the other thing is, now you've taught them how to treat you. You let them know what you allow.
Exactly.
Because they did that to you, and you came
Got
back,
Yep.
they're going to do it again.
Yep.
And then some people, they don't act like that with because they really can't get away with
Exactly.
it. But with you, they know that because I let them do it. If that really is how you show people how to treat you. Yeah. And because the first time, I never had boundaries till like 5 years ago. I had no, I'm talking none. It was crazy. I don't know how I got through life. And I told my friend, I told him I was dating. I told him not to do this, and he didn't call me no more. She was like, "You set a boundary. He not qualified. He shows you he capable of. Exactly. He's not fit for the job. And so he took himself away. Exactly. I was like, wait. So if I set boundaries, I'm not gonna have people in my life. No, she's like, no, you won't. A lot of people are not gonna be in your life when you have boundaries. But it's better.
Exactly.
I was like,
because you got more. See, this is the difference with the boundaries. You have less quantity and more quality.
Absolutely.
That's the difference, right? So it's like my phrase of it is great rules of engagement. You know what I mean? Like I lay down the rules of engagement from the beginning. When we doing business, when we chilling with that, look, this how I go. Like because what I learned earlier in life as a kid, people, the more familiar they are, the more disrespectful they become.
Familiarity breeds contempt.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And so therefore you have to set those boundaries because if you don't set it, you'll be looking up like, what am I in? You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like it's business. At the end of the day, I have other people relying on me, so I have to make that call. I got to make that judgment call.
It's not just about you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And people can read you. Like, people can read, I swear, you can read what somebody gonna put away, what they all just by them walking down the street, because we do content, me and my group, and we needed somebody to run. We needed somebody to do something, and we were looking at the people, and we're like, he ain't gonna do it. He'll do it, and we tested it. And it was absolutely the truth.
Right.
People have that energy about them.
Right.
Whatever you put up with,
Right.
people can sense that. That's why I was like, well, why am I attracting these type of people? Because you're giving off that you don't put up with me. Exactly. It's like attracts like. Like they know they can play in your face, so they know they can. It's just certain people like, nah, I ain't messing with them. Because you giving it off, whether it is conscious or not.
Right.
So yeah, that's something to think about. And then I remembering too that like dealing with reliable people, it's not just about you, because this is a team.
Exactly, it's a team sport.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a team sport, so I make the call because I'm the captain of the team. And like I say, if I put them on the team, the next thing you know, this happened. It's not their fault, it's mine. Because I saw that, and I still was like, let me give them a shot. It's like, okay, well, here's your reward.
I hate being the bad guy.
I mean, it's not the bad guy. What it is that you making the boss decision.
Yeah, that's
true.
true. That's
like,
true. Right.
When we had a record label, what? I used to tell my partner all the time, let me fire.
You don't feel nothing.
Let me fire. Let me fire. You know, because I go in and I'll be like, listen, the company is moving in a different direction.
I'm strict. In business, I am strict though. And like when you do something, it shows you who you are. Like you don't know who you are until you're in immersed, right?
Yeah.
And when I was doing a lot of the business stuff, when I did a lot of the business stuff, if I'm running it, I am strict. I didn't know I was, because I'm very like, oh, everybody okay? But when I got in there, I was like, no, this is how we're gonna. It was crazy the shift.
Because that side of you knows it's business and it has to be done.
It has to, and I work too hard.
Right.
I work too hard. I felt like Beyonce, like, I don't want to buy around me who not giving 100%. I don't. I'm not playing.
Right.
I sacrificed a lot for this, and this is my vision. I'm not, but when it comes to like personal relationships, I am a pushover. It's crazy. It's night and day. I'm like, it's okay. All the red flags. I'm like, come on, babe. Don't worry about it. Do me dirty. It's fine. I don't care. But business, I'm like, no. Absolutely not. It's so, I never thought. I was shocked. I leave meetings. I'm like, oh my God, who is that? Who the hell is that? But she don't play. Whoever that lady is, she don't play about his career. I tell you. But every other area, and I don't play about my health, because without that, ain't nothing.
Yeah.
I
Health
don't
is
play
wealth.
about that
Health
at
is
all.
wealth.
But anything else, I'm like, oh sure.
Go ahead.
Whatever. My family would probably be like, what in the world? But from people I do work with, they're like, she's straight. I'm very strict.
Hey, listen, I was laughing because it was funny, like when you was on set and we kept pronouncing El Noir the wrong way, and he was like, El Noir. You know, even in the clip, when they was like, well, yeah, you know, we did the drink El Noir, you know, when over there, he was like, yeah, so you can get El Noir. I said, she won't let it go, boy.
It's so crazy how many like different versions of you there are. Cause that girl, I don't know her. I don't know her. So I promise, as soon as I left set, she was gone.
I was laughing, I keep laughing. Every time I see that scene, I laugh because I remember when you was telling me.
I was like, what are y'all saying?
You mean El Noir? I was like, oh yeah. Like, okay, then I say it again, like, hey, no, but you like, Noir.
It's noir.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like, Noir. You like, what are you saying?
And you know what? We have the same accent because I'm from Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh, yeah.
So when you talking, I'm like, sound like somebody in my family. So that's probably why I've been talking to you so long too. I'm like, because you said Merlin, I was like, yeah, there it is. Yes, that's how we talk. So yeah, I can't say Marlboro. Yeah, I think that's part of the accent. Like we just can't say it. Some R's, the R's got us.
Another one we couldn't say was specific.
Specific.
We would say specific instead of spec.
Specific. Yeah, our words like jumble, like we don't enunciate.
Yeah.
And we say, well, in Baltimore it's hair. I'm gonna get my head on.
Yeah.
The R's, we
Drop
don't know about the R.
it. Get rid of the R.
If the R's at the end of the word, we like to get gone.
Who needs the R?
Who needs it? Anyway.
It's at the end.
Yeah, it's already counting itself out anyway. We just gonna accent. Don't worry about it. If it's that's funny, yeah. But it's fading away my accent. Okay. All right. Are you good?
I'm good. It was a pleasure. Definitely was a pleasure.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I hope it sounds good. You moved, but I think it's okay.
Well,
We're gonna be.
Yeah, let me know.
All right. People, I'll let you know when it'll be out.
Okay.
I'm gonna close this out though. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Kenyvttv, for sharing your time with me and inspiring listeners to redefine success for themselves. You can find out more about Kenyvttv on
Instagram, Viva Kenyvttv. It's pronounced Kenyvttv, but I spell it crazy. Keny, V as in victory, T as in Turi, T as in Tony, V as in Vice. So it's Viva Kenyvttv on Instagram. It's Kenyvttv El Bayo on Facebook and LinkedIn. I really don't do TikTok.
And it'll be in the show notes as well, the links to his Instagram and the Black Velvet on Amazon. So check the show notes for that. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in. I ask that you subscribe, you tell your friends. If you made it this far, you like the show. And
Yes.
you like it. So tell other people about it, because share the happiness, share the wealth, okay?
Be a friend and tell a friend.
Yes, be a friend and tell a friend. And I asked the guests to say the tagline. I'm gonna change it in 2026, y'all, but it's long. We'll show you our definition of success if you show us yours.
We'll show you our definition of success if you show us yours.
Killed it. There it is. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. Join us in 2 weeks when we have our next episode. Bye.